mean, we've always known Reese was going to be gone, right? So did Reese go and get Heastan and he probably told Harry, hey, I may only be here 1 year. I'm going to interview. I'm going to be looking around. Come help me out. Help me get this thing rolling. And then you leave when I leave. So I'm starting to look at this 2023 is this year one? I mean, going back to Goolsby, he's got a bunch of guys that he's been with, a lot of guys with ties to Fickle, Tressel, his past. This really reminds me a lot of, going back to Bob Davie, Bob Davie's first staff.
Please don't, but yeah, go ahead.
No, but he had some great coaches though, Mike, didn't he?
You're exact, yeah.
He had some ball coaches on his staff, and that's what I was thinking about. Just ball.
Sure.
He had some dudes: Urban Meyer, Charlie Strong, Madison, who you've raved about. He had some dudes. Kurt Dahl was an awesome coach, but I don't know. I get the feeling that this is like year one. This is like year one with all these guys, and the fact that Reese. It's more Harry kind of just leaving so quick after Reese. Those two maybe had a little combo thing, like, hey, help me out, and we'll move on. So. I'm excited for Freeman. And that's going back to, taking the whole Andy Ludwig thing, just throwing out the door. These are some good ball coaches that he's brought in. So people want to boo-hoo and stay on the Ludwig thing and the negativity, but these are some darn good ball coaches that have replaced Coach Heastan and Tommy Reese.
Yeah, and I think it depends on how people gauge things, Tim and Mike, what kind of matters to them in terms of how they're going to evaluate or come up with an opinion. But when I look at this staff, again, I see the youth, but I just look at it, Tim, these are all guys that want to be here.
Yeah, it seems
I mean, let's not overstate that or understate that rather. These are guys that want to be here. This is you look at Coach Stuckey. Whoa. Hey, Singer.
Sorry.
You look at Coach Stuckey. You look at Coach Parker. You look at Coach Rudolph. This is the coaching opportunity of a lifetime. These are guys that want to be here. Like Coach Reese, he had one foot out the door and he was kind of looking for an exit. And Heastan was came out of retirement kind of begrudgingly, 1 year stop. Yeah, was he fully bought in? So that's something that matters to me, is that these guys want to be here. I think it's an opportunity of a lifetime, kind of renewed energy in that room. So I think you could make a case, Mike, that they're better off this year than last. Absolutely.
Two other guys off of that, you look at Coach McCullough. I mean, Coach McCullough with his obviously Super Bowl with the Chiefs and whatnot, he's getting calls. I mean,
I texted you, Tim. He's the next one to go.
Oh, he's the next one, and everyone just assumed he was going to be gone with all these things, but he's probably like, man, I could stay here one more year. I got these backs.
My thoughts him or Golden. I think him or Golden are next. Golden wants to be a head coach somewhere or get back in the NFL. And McCullough's trajectory is this. And then I would say after that, probably Stuckey.
And Stuckey's the South. I remember reading a month ago, I think it was on Football Scoop, where Auburn came hard at him. And he's like, no, I'm staying. So you got an SEC school coming after a guy from the South, and he's staying at Notre Dame for another year. Yeah, these guys are going to go all in, going back to our main topic tonight, going all in for 2023.
But going back to last topic here, and this kind of goes back to Coach Rudolph talking offensive line. What I'm kind of saying here is this is a group of guys that wants to be here. I do think there's going to be somewhat of a collective in terms of the framework of the offense because of a lack of ego. And Tim, you know this better than anybody. I mean, coaches have egos, and it can be destructive. I hope I don't see that in this group. But this offensive line group, guys, this is their third O-line coach in 3 years.
Yes.
So it's when I talk about guys that want to be here, I think Coach Stuckey is super important to develop this young group of wide receivers to have some consistency, some uniformity. And Coach Rudolph, I think, is huge. Please stick around for 3-4 years so we can, pick a direction offensive line wise and stick to it. So.
I agree. Great points. I think it's a heck of a group of coaches, and let's get after this 2023 season. It's a good group of football coaches, I believe.
Yeah, Nathan says, was Heastan leaving because Tommy Reese went to Bama? Crappy move. That's basically what that was what you opined there, Ghouls, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think Harry kind of did Tommy a favor.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
Yeah, and again, I mean, Harry's a great coach, but I mean, you go from Coach Quinn, his methodology, you've got Harry's methodology, and now you've got to retrain a group of offensive linemen with Coach Rudolph. And again, it's just like, let's find a measure of consistency here for that group, you know?
Well, just quick 30 seconds on recruiting, Mike, is
it?
Well, I mean,
Start the clock.
It started. Oh, this is an easy one. I mean, he's standing with one foot out the door, waiting on Tommy, not knowing how long he's going to be. I mean, look at the offensive line offers. Obviously, he was out on the road. He did recruiting and whatnot, but Notre Dame's offered, it feels like, as many O-linemen the last couple of weeks than they did, the last few months with Harry combined. So, that's going back to, Singer's world with recruiting is Rudolph's going to get after this thing. I truly believe that.
Yeah. And people I talked to about Rudolph say that he's just a good, steady guy. Like, he's not, highs aren't too high, lows aren't too low. He's not going to slack off. He's not going to beat your door down in an annoying way. He's just a good, solid recruiter. And he obviously did pretty well, at Wisconsin, just covering Notre Dame, lots of battles between the two with offensive linemen, and Wisconsin got the better of Notre Dame sometimes. It's always tough to go into Wisconsin and beat out the Badgers for those in-state players, especially on the offensive line. The Irish did get Billy Schrouth, which was the first player they'd signed from Wisconsin in like 2 decades, which was crazy. But guys like Joe Brunner, Notre Dame badly wanted. Nolan Rucci is a 5-star in the 2021 class, I believe. Wisconsin got him. And I believe Rucci's dad played at Penn State. So it was a really good recruiting win for Joe Rudolph. So yeah, I think he's going to be a solid recruiter. I think he's going to fit in well. Again, it just, everyone I talked to about him, just a good, solid dude. And, if he was a good recruiter at Wisconsin, he's only going to be better at Notre Dame because of the O-line traditions are great at both schools. But now you're on Freeman's staff and you have that support around you. I think it's going to bode really well for him.
When you think of Wisconsin O-line, you think technique, you think toughness. Now I think you could sprinkle in quite a bit more of athleticism in terms of what he's going to have access to recruiting at a Notre Dame versus a Wisconsin. So it should all be good stuff.